thinking about Israel-Palestine and also about Russia-Ukraine, and how basically Russia-Ukraine has been forgotten over the past few months because of Israel-Palestine. Or at least I have forgotten about it because it's hard to hold both in my mind at the forefront. And I've listened to various people talk about the conflict. John Mearsheimer is somebody who is in the realist political philosophy camp, who argues that the U.S. is at fault for the Ukraine war, as does RFK Jr., as does Oliver Stone. And I watched I did not watch it. I watched snippets of the recent Tucker Carlson interview of Vladimir Putin, and listened to Putin speak at greater length in Russian. And my conclusion is that he is crazy. Well, crazy is probably not accurate. He is not a good person. I think he's basically scum of the earth. And that's not to say that that Russia doesn't have reason to be threatened by NATO. Because essentially people like Mearsheimer, Kennedy, Stone, they argue that the US and NATO have repeatedly broken promises to Russia to not move NATO eastward, which I'm willing to accept. NATO has definitely moved eastward. This latest move eastward by NATO was caused by Russia invading Ukraine, which supposedly it did because NATO was moving eastward. But watching Putin speak and listening to him, it seems clear to me that he's not with us. He's in his own world. He's a scary person. He's a dangerous person. And so, I listened to Oliver Stone talk about his kind of meetings with Putin and how he feels a connection with him. I feel like I listened to RFK talk, and I think they're crazy. I think it's crazy to feel a sense of empathy or kind of union with Putin. I don't think that person feels empathy or union with anybody. That's separate from thinking that the U.S. has antagonized Russia. is probably true. I don't think John Mearsheimer is crazy. I think he's actually quite sane. It doesn't necessarily mean I agree with his theory, but then again, I don't know that I have the right to agree to disagree. He's a lot more educated about it than I am. So I don't know whether the U.S. should be involved in Ukraine or not. I think there are people now calling for a stalemate, basically, for negotiations, because Ukrainians are dying. I mean, Russians are dying too, but more Ukrainians apparently. And it does appear that the chances of pushing Russia out of Ukraine are slim. But it's also hard to argue that the Ukrainians should give up, because I do not think that Russia should be in their land. There are people also who argue that Putin, if he wins in Ukraine, then he'll continue on to other parts of Europe. I don't believe that. I don't think he has ambitions to conquer more of Europe. Well, he might go after places like Moldova. So that's what I just said is not entirely true. But I think he also understands that for him to openly antagonize NATO and invade a NATO country would be stupid. I don't think he would do that. Ukraine's not a NATO country, so he's basically in his kind of safe space. So I don't believe in this concept that he's out for world domination. But the concept that he's kind of evil or definitely sociopathic, I do believe. So I think people who feel like they understand him or kind of can relate to him are fooling themselves. I don't think anybody can relate to him. I don't think he relates to anybody. So it's good to have a little bit of a reminder of what I've forgotten. John Mearsheimer also talks about Israel-Palestine, as does RFK, and they're on opposite sides of that one. RFK is fully pro-Israel, and I think he's brainwashed on that one as well. I think he's brainwashed on international policy. So I'm kind of fading in my affection for him. John Mearsheimer is fully, it seems, on the Palestinian side, and the more that I listen to, the more I am on that side as well. But it's a bigger topic, it's a bigger discussion, it's more nuanced, and I'll save it for another time.